First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming, to Master Sakya Dzogchen, to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa, and homage to Master Dukden Dorje. Homage to the three jewels of the altar, and homage to the main deity of Homa today, the great magnetizing deity, the Ragaraja. Sumo, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the webcast, and our honorable guest today, the accountant to the Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa, the head of the Public Relation Department of the Taiwan Lizang Temple, Mr. Fermi Wang, the producer for the CTI TV in Taiwan, Dharma Sister Rebecca Su, and Dr. Zhuang, and the attorney to the Two Buddha Scroll, Professor Lu and his son, and the wife of the board of director for the Overseas Credit Warranty Fund, Miss Vivian Ship. How are you? How do you do? So I would like to introduce for next Saturday, August 24th, is the ceremony for Pindolu. And on Sunday, August 25th, the main deity for the Homa is Vajra Varahi. And as you know Vajra Varahi, Vajra Yogini. And the Homa starts at 2 p.m. and the ceremony also at 2 p.m. They didn't write the time here, so it sounds like the whole day, but actually it starts at 2 p.m. And the main deity is Vajra Varahi or Dorje Pamu. Dorje Pamu. And this deity is needed for every yogi, yogini, or every spiritual cultivator, sadhaka, so everyone can become the primary supplicant for this Homa, because this deity is the most important of all the Buddha mothers. And her origin is the Prajna Buddha mother. That was the mantra for Prajna Buddha mother. And then all the way to Dorje Pamu. So Dorje Pamu is truly helpful to all tantric cultivators. So in order to lit your inner fire in your tantric practices, you definitely need the help and blessings of Dorje Pamu. It's also related to the treasure vase energy yoga and to the inner fire practice. And you need the one and only, the one that you definitely need is Dorje Pamu. Like Milarepa, which is the great yogi of Tibet, he practiced this Dorje Pamu or Vajra Varahi to ignite his tumo, inner fire. only with her blessing you would be able to raise or ignite your inner fire, to open your central channel, and to make sure that your treasure vase energy would be full and robust, and also to let the light drops drip. So this deity is extremely important, and she's also a Dharma protector. So at that time, so Guru Padmasambhava, Singamuka, and Doje Pamo were together. They were all holding the kachanka, the trident staff. And Doje Pamo is holding kachanka, the three-pronged trident. And Guru Padmasambhava was also holding the kachanka. And Singamuka, the lion-faced Dakini, is also holding the kachanka. So these three deities are together. So Doje Pamo holding the kachanka, the three-pronged trident. So she's truly great, the female deity. And in practicing inner fire, the treasure vase energy, opening the central channel, and the light drop practices, you need Doje Pamo. So she is the main deity for all the inner tantric practices. So that's the introduction for Doje Pamo. That's all. So it sounds like each deity is very important. And today we perform the Homa of Ragaraja. And when you heard of Ragaraja, many people joined and registered. And this deity is really very important. And the deity before was also very important. And Doje Pamo was also important. And this deity is even more important. Why is this deity important? So in the name Raga, which means enticing love. So in tantric practices, in order to gain yogic or spiritual response with your yidam or main deity, and your main deity may not be Ragaraja, but if you recite the mantra for Ragaraja 300,000 times, and the first time I transmitted Ragaraja was in Hong Kong, and it was organized by Master Chang-Ren. And he had a band that was on a stage that's moving all over the place. So every time I talk about Ragaraja, I thought about that event. And they were singing like that. And they were playing drums and playing all kinds of musical instruments. That was really fun. And at that time, nobody knew that Ragaraja was so important, because 300,000 mantra recitation of Ragaraja was like a bridge between you and the Yidam, your personal deity. So 300,000 mantra recitation, and you pray to Ragaraja to gain the yogic response with your Yidam, because he has the power of magnetism, iron. In Japan, everyone worshipped Ragaraja. Iron is like a love potion. And in Chinese is aizen. So why is this deity called the Ragaraja, or the king of love potion? So he is the bridge to all the deities. If you want to gain the spiritual response with a deity or with your personal deity, Ragaraja would act as the bridge, like the matchmaker in Taiwanese. So they are connecting the red thread, say, between a man and a woman. So this Ragaraja loves to connect, and he has the appearance or the look of Vidyaraja, which is very wrathful and fierce. One face, 6 arms, and a red hair flaring up, very wrathful. And the Dharma implements, one hand holding the mala, chanting bead, and then lotus, arrows, bow, and then vajra bell and scepter. So 6 arms, 6 hands. And the most important ones are the arrow and bow. After you complete 300,000 mantra recitation, and you place the statue on the west facing east, and then you hold a bow and arrow that's made of upala flowers. So the arrow is being wrapped with the flowers, so it's a very tender arrow, not a very wicked arrow. And then you recite Hom Cha Cha Hom Re 6 or 7 times. Hom Cha Cha Hom Re. And then you visualize the girlfriend that you love most. That would be easy to visualize because you always think of her every day. Think of her look, and then you shoot the arrow of flowers toward her, and then the 2 hearts would be together. And after the woman was shot the arrow, she would get hooked on you. Namely. And it's the same vice versa. After 300,000 mantra recitation, you hold the arrow wrapped with flowers, and you shoot the arrow toward the young, handsome, and tall boyfriend. And with the arrow shooting over the heart, and he will not look at another woman. All he sees is you. And he is completely enticed by you. And he got shot. And his whole spirit belongs to you. So you are Xi Si, which is the most beautiful woman of China. So the Ragaraja's arrow is very similar to the Cupid's arrow. Then your heart would be in love once you have shot the arrow. In Tantrayana, Ragaraja is Vairocana Buddha entering into the heart of Samantabhadra. And Ragaraja is also a manifestation of Vajrasattva, the Dharma prince of the 5 Dhyani Buddha, which is the founder of Tantrayana. So Ragaraja has great Dharma power, and by reciting his mantra, there are lots of yogic responses. 300,000 mantra recitation, and you pray for the spiritual response with your yidam. That would be easy to achieve. So everyone should recite his mantra because he has this love potion. There was this movie that's called Iron Kui.
Do you know? 他非常高兴，他说我总算知道一个爱人卡兹达。
He's very pleased that finally he understood Aizen Katsuta. So it's love potion.
那么爱染明王哦，他本身的咒语种种
So the mantra,
跟本尊一直在修行当中没有感应。
for those who still have not gained spiritual response with your personal deity, then if you add the Ragaraja mantra, 300,000 recitations, then it would be easy for you to gain the spiritual response. And then there is a Dharma practice to cut off the evils. So if the arrow is not made of flowers, but it's a true arrow, a real arrow, and then you visualize your enemies or your debtors in front of you, and then you shoot the arrows, then your enemies and debtors would be gone. So if you shoot the arrow toward your boss, then your boss would leave. Then you would become the boss. So this is to cut off the evils. That the bad people are always around you and you want to cut them off. You want to break up. Then you use the bow and arrow to shoot on them. And then they will not appear in front of you anymore. So the enemies would be gone. And prior to shooting the arrows, it's on the Chu day, which is the eliminating day, and then in afternoon, and then you recite 108 times Ragaraja mantra, then the enemies would be gone. And the next practice is the drawing or painting practice. So below Ragaraja is a nectar vase, above it is a lotus, and then Ragaraja on the lotus with one face and 6 arms. And the painting that you paint yourself and then you hang it, that your spirit is inside it, then this painting is as if it's already consecrated, so it has spirit. And performing Homa, if you want to ask for a girl to love you for sure, that she will love me for sure, then you use the pistils of a red lotus blossom, 108 of them, and then you throw them into the Homa fire. And you use the half-circle Homa fire pit for magnetizing. So 108 pistils of the red lotus, and then you throw them into the Homa fire while reciting the name of that girl. Then you would obtain the love, her love. But if you have deviant thought, evil thought, say in Homa you want this woman 108 times, and then the next Homa another woman 108 times, and then another woman 108 times, another woman and another woman. That's crooked, evil way, then you will not gain the response. You just want the love, no love, but you just want the lust, the potion. But the true love is very precious. That's a true love. My view of love is different from other people. If you love a woman and you truly love her, then you cannot harm her. You need to know this. If you really love her but you harm her, then Grandmaster will not value that. Because Grandmaster's value on love is that if you love a woman, then you definitely don't want to hurt her. And the same vice versa. If a woman loves a man, then she should not definitely hurt him. You cannot say that you love, I love you, but hate you. I love and hate you. Why? So if you love the woman, you can only love but not hate. And the same thing with the woman. That's my view on love. When the woman doesn't have her heart 100% on you anymore, and she has another person that she really loves, then all you can do is to wish her the best. Love her. You don't loving her, you don't want to harm her, and at the same time you want to wish her well, then that would be true love. Because she's happier with another person, and she's not that happy to be with you. And at that time, all you can do is to wish her the best. You cannot be jealous, envious, or doing some wicked things. Then that would not be true love. That's all fake. There are lots of this fake love on earth. But Grandmaster would like to say that Grandmaster is a true spiritual cultivator. And Grandmaster truly understands about true love. If a woman doesn't love you, and she's happier with another person, you should respect her and wish her well, and gladly break up with her. Then that would be a true love. If you're not like that, then you are not qualified to be a Raga Raja, because Raga Raja is also that way. So the correct or the proper and the improper way. So if you love a woman and the woman doesn't want you anymore, then you harm her, hurt her, using weapons, guns, or pouring chemicals on her, then that's not good. That's not good. You should wish her well. So Grandmaster's viewpoint on love, and Grandmaster's 70 years old, so it's okay to talk about love. It's okay. So that's how it is. So this is proper, this is the right way. Rationally, you have to be rational. So all the mundane and the fake love, that's not right. True love would respect the choice of your partner or spouse, and you wish them the best. So a true love has no hatred whatsoever, not even the slightest. So in performing the fire offering for magnetizing, that's what you should do. And then the nectar water Dharma practice, Ragaraja is seated on a nectar vase, and when he bestows the nectar, your whole body would be clear and transparent, very pure. And for each of this Dharma practice, you need to recite 300,000 recitations of his mantra. And Ragaraja also has the sculpting Dharma practice. A lot of people have this. And you carve a Ragaraja as big as your thumb, and to sculpt the look of Ragaraja, and then you hang it on your chest. So what is the benefit of this? So if you generate love towards someone, Ragaraja would help you, so that the people would love you. And you recite it 7 times, and you say that so and so loves so and so, and it would be done. So there are lots of benefits to Ragaraja. So in the prayers earlier, there are a lot of people that say so and so loves so and so. There are lots of them. So there are a lot of single men and single women. So and so loves so and so. So you're really great, huh? So there's also the evil eradication Dharma practice. So if you have the sculpted Ragaraja, and then you recite 7 times, whether you're walking or you're driving or wherever you go, then you will not be touched by any disasters or calamities. Or when you're on the plane, you recite the Ragaraja mantra 7 times. That if the plane was supposed to fall down, then it will not happen. So even if the plane fell, but you have parachute, so you would still be saved. So you would always be saved. Sometimes you're about to get on the plane and you're wearing the sculpture of Ragaraja and recited 7 times of his mantra. And then all of a sudden you got really sick. And then you were sent to the emergency room, and the plane really fell down. But you weren't on the plane because you were sick. But after the plane fell down, you got well again. So Ragaraja was helping you, so you get off the plane that fell. So on a plane, reset 7 times. On the ship, reset 7 times. Driving in the car or riding in a car, recite it 7 times. Or you're walking, recite it 7 times. But this is after you complete the 300,000 mantra recitations. It's easy to recite. And you can play the guitar and recite it at the same time. So it's easy, 300,000 times. You play on the guitar every day. And then after 300,000 mantra recitations, there is also the depoisoning Dharma practice. And then you recite the mantra 7 times, and then you eat the food even though you know that the food is already rotten and has mold and has poison and has germs, and then you eat it. Everybody else got food poisoning, but you're fine. So he has this Dharma practice to alleviate poisons. So he could also alleviate sicknesses. If you have some toxins that cannot be discarded, and you recite Ragaraja mantra 300,000 times, and then every time you recite it 7 times, and then you drink the cup of water that you made as offerings to Ragaraja, then you would detoxify all the toxins. Then all the illnesses due to toxins would be cured. So that's the alleviating poisons or toxins Dharma practice. And according to the sutra, if you went to hell, you fell into hell and you saw a poisonous snake and the snake bit you, and at that time, if you still remember, if you don't remember, then that's nothing you can do. But if you still remember when you played the guitar, and then you recite 7 times of the Ragaraja mantra, then the poisonous snake will not bite you. If you still remember the mantra in hell, and someone was going to use a red-hot iron rod to scorch your mouth, and because when you were still alive, you had completed the 300,000 times of mantras, then in hell, when you were about to be scorched, that the red hot iron rod becomes moachi. So that's really good. And then if you went to the poop hell, the excrement hell, it's all excrement and your head is right there. When the time is up, then you have to be upside down and you have to eat the excrement. If you still remember Ragaraja mantra and quickly recite it 7 times, then the excrements would become sausage. And it's with great power. So other people would eat the poop, but I eat the sausage. So there are lots of benefits to Ragaraja. So that's all for the introduction for Ragaraja. Last night at the Seattle Lechang Temple, the Dharma practices of Chichi, I realized that there were many people who just took refuge. And someone told me that the newly refuged people could not understand the teaching of Chichi because it's very profound, about no self-nature, no form, no vows. These are all very deep and profound, too deep. And so people said, I just took refuge and I don't understand. But, well, Grandmaster has given teachings for 40 years and you just took refuge now. I have to start again from the beginning? And I have to talk for another 40 years? Oh, no. No way. So in the tantric practices, you need to start from the resource or merit accumulation path in order For the fruition, there are several stages. First is the merit accumulation path, and then the preliminary or fundamental practices, and then seeing the enlightenment. So merit accumulation, preliminary, seeing the way, practicing the way, and then realizing the way. These are the different stages. And talking about Che and talk, those are all in the practicing the way stage. So in the beginning of your spiritual cultivation, you should start from the basics, which is the path of merit accumulation. Like what I said today, purifying the black karma, increasing the good karma or the white karma. And all the bad things that we did in the past, we need to repent. And all the black karma from all previous lives should be repented to become the good or white karma. And you need to increase the good karma. You need to do more goods or doing charity. And it's the same for all religions. So this is the common and the uncommon practices. The common practices of all religions is to do goods and never to do evils. And now that you have taken refuge, you want to do goods and never to do evils or the bad things. And you need to repent all the bad things that you have done in the previously and previous lives. And after this stage, the path of merit accumulation is the fundamental or the preliminary practices. And you need to do the practice of offerings, to offer to all the deities, repentance, great homage or prostrations, the fourfold refuge. These are all the preliminary or the fundamental practices. The fourfold refuge is to increase your own faith. So, and to perform the prostrations or the homage is to subdue your own pride and arrogance. You do the prostrations. And you need to perform the great offerings, the mandala offerings. You need to learn that, mandala offering. And you need to learn the repentances, to practice the Vajrasattva, the 100-syllable mantras and practices. These are all very important. So in the beginning, you start with the merit accumulation path and then the preliminary practices path. And you have to gain spiritual response with your personal deity or yidam. That's very important. But first, let me share a joke. On a public bus, a young mother was breastfeeding her baby, and the baby was naughty. And the young mother told the baby, "So do you want it or not? If you don't want it, I'll give it to the gentleman next to you," for several times. And then the young man couldn't stand it anymore. And then he said, little baby, why don't you decide? Because, you know, your uncle has been waiting for a long time and has passed the bus stop." So in tantric practices, we have to start from the like breastfeeding. So in the merit accumulation path, it's like a baby. You have to be breastfed. And in the preliminary practices, then you can eat porridges. And then the next step, when you start practicing the yidam, or you gain spiritual response, then you can start eating the dry food like rice. That's after you seen the way. And once you gain spiritual response with your yidam, you start the inner practices. Then you can start eating bread or buns or noodles, and then the next step you can eat cheese. You can eat the most rich and nutritious food. So you have to go step by step, stage by stage, from young and growing up. It's the same in your tantric practices. You cannot just jump over. So newborn baby, and you feed them the dry rice, then that would not work. So chiche that I talked about yesterday was the same as eating the baking products. So for newborn baby, you feed like the whole bun or noodle, that would the baby would be dead. So the baby should drink milk. So this is reality. So you need to start from the beginning, from the basics. Yesterday, my wife found out that I had a private stack of savings. And then B asked, so were you fighting? And A said no. That this is the only common interest between us. So the woman too would save some stash for her own. So like when she goes shopping, she would save a little bit for her own. So what it means is that we have to save. Whether it's a yogi or yogini, both male or female have to do the practice every single day. You have to recite the mantras, to visualize, and to enter into samadhi every single day. And that's the main practice. This is the mudra for Ragaraja. You have to form the mudra, recite the mantra. And you need to invoke Ragaraja. You need to understand how to invoke. This is how you invoke him. The middle fingers crossed and rubbing against each other. That's the love enticement. Then he would come really fast. Then he would descend upon your body really quickly. Very easy. That's how to invoke him. Actually, many deities have their own ways of invocation, and Ragaraja invoke like this. And Yamantaka of Manjushri, and this is Vajrakilikilaya. Vajrakilaya. The two middle fingers are straight. The most powerful Vajrakilaya. And the most powerful Yamantaka and Manjushri is this mudra. And Ragaraja is crossed. And open is Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. Manjushri. And there is also pith instruction, heart essence. Heart in heart. How to invoke Yamantaka? You place the thumbs inward and rubbing against each other, and Yamantaka would descend naturally. So these are the key secrets or key formulas. So let me share another joke. So the mountain goat introduced the elephant to the mosquito. The Miss Elephant. Actually, the mosquito was in love with Miss Elephant for a long time, and of course agreed right away. But the mosquito's mom could not accept that, disapprove, and then so he asked the mother why, and the mom said, "It's not that we don't want to, but we cannot afford the engagement ring." The reason why they cannot be together, because the elephant, the engagement ring is really huge. I don't know how many carats diamond. So today, in studying Buddha Dharma, we should start from the basics. You should first recite your Yidam's mantra, a certain number, and do all the preliminary practices to strengthen your faith and commitment to the spiritual practices, and the fourfold refuge a certain number of times, repentance practices a certain number of times. Then you would have a strong foundation this way, because you already accumulated enough merits. Then it would be easy for you to do the practice like of the great elephant, because you already have enough merits. Then you can make offering, say 100 carats of diamond ring to the elephant, because you are rich in your merits, and you can do whatever deity practice. But if you don't have enough wealth of merits, then you cannot marry whatever deity, because you cannot reach it. So these days, which one is more important, love or bread? So if you shoot the arrow and she marries you, do you have enough money to pay for 2 loaves of bread, not just one? Then if you don't have enough money or merits or resources, then she will not marry you. So that's why in our spiritual cultivation, we should still start from accumulating the merits, and then the fundamental practices, and then seeing the way, practicing the way, and finally realizing the way. It is better to do it stage by stage. So this is a rather dirty joke. Now I don't tell this kind of jokes. And America and China astronauts had a dialogue in the sky, in the space. American astronaut said, "China is great. I could see the Great Wall right away." And the Chinese astronaut replied, "Oh, that's not the Great Wall. That's the traffic jam in China." So in our spiritual cultivations, we have to be clear. You need to understand clearly what Tantrayana is about. And then you need to choose your own yidam, your own personal deity or main deity, which deity you want to practice. And you have to follow the procedure. Don't mistake it. So don't mistake the traffic jam to be the Great Wall. So you could see the traffic jam from the space above. Yeah, so from the space above you could see the Great Wall or the traffic jam, the long traffic jam. So you need to be able to differentiate clearly between the two. So you need to have a clear mind in your tantric practices. Then that would be good for your spiritual cultivation. That is important. This is also the joke about accumulating merits. Disneyland is very enticing. So my husband and the kids and I went there for 3 days and had a lot of fun. When we left, when our car left, my son waved his hand and said, "Goodbye, Mickey Mouse." Mickey Mouse. And the daughter waved her hand and said, "Goodbye, Minnie Mouse." And the husband waved very limply and said, "Goodbye, money," because he had spent all the expenses for those 3 days. So the husband is too stingy. But if he has enough resources, then he wouldn't be like that. It's no big deal. So if you have merits, then you can even travel around the globe for 80 days. If you have enough merits or enough resources, you can travel around the world for the whole year, 365 days traveling, then that would be fine. So that's the reason why we have to have enough savings to accumulate the merits. If you have enough merits or resources, and you were diligent in your tantric practices and you gain spiritual response with your yidam, you can go to any Buddha lands, to all the Buddha lands. If you have enough resources, then it would be easier for you to do the tantric practices. Yesterday we talked about the visualization practice and also the yoga, the 3 emptiness yoga, and also the 3 emptiness yoga, also considered as Tokyo. And Tokyo is deeper or a more profound practices than Chiche. So in the great perfection Dharma, Tok is the highest. It's because in Ati Yoga, talk primarily about Chiche and Tok. So when you perform the practice of the 3 emptiness yoga, they are a method for 3 doors, and the 3 doors are the body, speech, and mind. So the methods is, with respect to the mind, that's the empty space, like when we visualize the empty space. That's the mantra for visualizing the empty space. Then you need to enter into the empty space, and you transform yourself to become empty. That's the way of the mind. And the way of the speech is to be silent. Then you don't talk at all. You close your lips. And relate to the mind, you are like a lion. That I have described the position of a lion. That the 2 feet are together like this, and the 2 paws on the ground, and the 2 feet on the ground, the 2 hands on the ground, the sole of the feet facing each other, and then the 2 hands on the ground. And you close your mouth and the mind is on the empty space. So that's the 3 empty spaces yoga. That's also the Dharma door of talk of the body, speech, and mind. Then the eyes cannot just see as you like. The teacher asked Xiaoming, this is the 4th time you cheated and looked at the exam sheet of Hua. And Xiaoming replied, well, because Xiao Hua's writing is really bad. I couldn't see clearly the first 3 times. So you could not see as you like. The eyes could only glare at the empty space, the clear blue sky, in the lion position. And your mind is filled with empty space. Your eyes is looking at the empty sky, or the empty space, or the sky. And the body is the lion posture. And the eyes are toward the clear blue sky. And the mouth is closed. You don't recite the mantra, nothing moves. And in that quiescence, you can enter into meditation, because the eyes are looking at the clear blue sky and the mind is empty. And in that sitting position, the most auspicious lion position, and you forgot about it. And then you place all your thoughts on the sky. Then you would enter into meditation, and your whole body would become empty and become nothing. Like today, I was riding in Master Dehui's car from Seattle Lezang Temple to the Rainbow Temple. And Simu was talking to Master Dehui, and I was sitting in the position and closed my eyes and didn't think of anything, and I didn't say anything, and I was sitting continually until we got to the Rainbow Temple. And when I opened my eyes, and when they said, it's here, and I opened my eyes, and it's already at the Rainbow Temple. And how long was it? I felt as if it's only a second before we got here. But how long did we drive? At least 30 to 40 minutes. But I felt as if it's only 1 second. So in such a state, it's completely empty. When I got here, I told Sheng-Yen, Lian-Yin and Sheng-Yen, I told them, is my mouth open? And they said, no. Your mouth was closed, but you opened the eyes as if I was asleep, but actually, I didn't even know if I fell asleep or not. I really didn't know. I didn't have a dream. I didn't anything. It's just like a second. Close my eyes a second, and then I arrived here. So it's the same as in meditation. So in meditation, it's also this case. We have lots of masters from Malaysia here. And several of them are closing their eyes in meditation. We have many Dharma masters from Malaysia. And at night, in meditation, as soon as I close my eyes, and I thought, I want to enter into meditation and I want to go to Malaysia. And at that time, my body would become an empty space, becomes empty. and the body just sang in the mind. It's the same as it's gone, but there's a sensation that the body kept sinking until the bottom of the crust of the earth. So it's like the whole earth, and at the center of the earth, and I was revolving. I felt that my body was circling 3 times, and then to the right direction, and then floated back. And as soon as it floated, I was already in Malaysia. So this is a true story. It's very true. So now I'm in America. I went into meditation, and I had the thought, I want to go to Taiwan. And I had the same sensation. The body becomes like the sky, empty space, and then it sank to the center of the earth, and then the body's revolving. It's like a propeller of a plane.
Do you know it's Japanese language? Propella. Do you know? Propella 是台湾话吗？英文 propella 是英文啊。
It's English. Is it Taiwanese? Japanese? It's also Japanese, but it's also English. Propeller. I became a propeller, and it circles 3 times, and then find a direction, and then I floated gradually. And then when I was out, not my physical body, but my soul. So my soul was in Taiwan. So wherever I want to go, you can use this method. So that's why in meditation, you can travel thousands of miles. And you can even go to the Buddha land if you truly have mastered the meditation skill. You can go to the Western paradise. So if I want to go to another country on earth, I would go to the center of the earth, rotate 3 times, and then float it to that country. And this is a true experience. If I want to go to a Buddha land in my meditation, I would enter into the empty space. And the same as like the propeller, I would rotate and then to that direction of that Buddha land. So you would definitely have that kind of sensation. So that's talk. So the body is like a lion, the mouth is closed, and then the mind is like the empty space. Then you can transform. So you can go anywhere you want. So there's a great benefit to this spiritual cultivation.